I have news as regards the reactions over the criticism of the judiciary by President William Ruto. We have details lined up for you. Welcome to Easy Friday. Here are tonight's highlights.
So I've applied this system again, and that was very easy and very convenient.
Visa-free Kenya. First batch of 500 foreigners under new arrangement arrive in the country. Corruption and judiciary. Busia senator now wants the executive to table evidence. And the NHIF scandal. The government suspends 27 hospitals allegedly involved in fraudulent activities. My name is John Jacob Kioria, our sign language interpreter. Tonight is Brian Muraru. Welcome to the broadcast. The first batch of visitors under the visa-free regime arrived in the country on Friday afternoon. The visitors from different countries are part of the over 500 who have already been approved under the electronic travel authorization system. Immigration and Citizen Services Principal Secretary Ambassador Julius Bitok has assured the country that the ETA system is secure as passengers are verified way before embarking on their journey. Kenya has so far received over 3,200, that is 3,200 applications in the system.
Friday afternoon at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport. The first batch of visitors using the electronic travel authorization system under the new visa-free regime arrived in the country. They were received by Immigration and Citizen Services Principal Secretary Ambassador Julius Bitok.
Kenya is a home of safari, and it's a place to go visit, go for tourism. Yes, so welcome.
I heard that there is a ETA system launched, so I've applied this system again, and that was very easy and very convenient because I could apply at once for my family or my family members. Before then, I need to apply separately.
Bitok says that the system is an upgrade as it eases travel, hence attracting more investors and tourists.
You fill in your data, and within 10 minutes you are done, and you should be able to get the approval within 72 hours, and you have your ETA to travel to Kenya. When you look at the impact of this policy, you realize that we are going to be collecting, or rather we are going to gain approximately 1.5 trillion from tourism alone in terms of the money they will be spending around the country. And that would really create a very big economic boost for our country.
Amid safety concerns, Bitok says that the system is more secure as information on visitors is received and vetted before they arrive into the country.
We're able to get their information, we're able to cross-check whether they are on the watch list, and those people who are on the watch list are denied boarding from their countries of departure. So right now, we have a more robust, more secure, more predictable system. That is an improvement of the previous system.
As KCA, we ensure that Kenya is complying with the standards of the Chicago Convention, being a signatory to the Chicago Convention, the International Civil Aviation Organization, its standards and recommended practices.
This country is going to another level of digitization whereby application for the ETA is going to be easier and faster, and is now open country for the world to come in.
The electronic travel authorization will be valid for 90 days and cost $30 to apply. So far, Kenya has received 3,200 applications, out of which over 500 have already been approved. Nancy Okware, Easy Friday.
The ripple effect of the visa-free entry. You saw what happened to South Africa over the December holidays, and that is likely to be replicated in Kenya, obviously with the entry being free. In Turkana, they say Tobong Lore, that is welcome home. Now, Busia Senator Okiya Omutata has challenged the government to table evidence on claims that Litigants are compromised and collude with some judges to sabotage government initiatives, among them the housing levy and the new social health insurance fund. In as Abdiaziz Hashim reports, the outspoken lawmaker says his conscience is clean and defended Judiciary against corruption accusations.
The ongoing public spat between the two arms of the government has sparked a debate in the country. Busia Senator Kiom Tata is the recent lawmaker who has voiced his concerns over the matter.
I take this opportunity to state categorically that I have not bribed any judge, neither am I contemplating doing so. I don't even know how judges are bribed, and I am not so morally depraved that I can do so.
The lawmaker, who is one of the main litigants on cases challenging some of the Kenya Kwanza government initiatives, want evidence tabled on claims of corruption in the judiciary.
To table the evidence of bribe taking against any judge or bribe giving he has against any litigant, and let the chips fall where they may. So if you have got any issue with the judges, the structures are very clear, and I think more than many people have expressed it before me, that present the evidence to the Judicial Service Commission. That's how we have decided to do. That's how the due process is.
National Assembly Majority Leader and Kikuyu legislator Kimani Ichung'wah has also weighed in and stood by the government claims that corruption has played a part in the outcome of the cases challenging the Kenya Kwanza legacy projects.
That we must all be open to the truth if we are to fix the problems in this country. Part of the reason why we are in the trouble we are in is because of past cases of state capture and corruption in our country, including corruption in the judiciary.
In every society there is an abnormality. Katika executive kuna abnormalities, katika judiciary kuna abnormalities, hata katika parliament kuna abnormalities. So every part of the society they have their weaker part. Tusijibishane hapa ati raisi amesema hii law society demonstrate, we will also demonstrate against you.
Chief Justice Martha Koome, who chairs the Judicial Service Commission JSC, has asked judges and judicial officers to remain firm and discharge their duties while urging anyone aggrieved with their decision to appeal or lodge a complaint with the Commission. Abdiaziz Hashim for Easy Friday.
Let's focus our attention now on an unfolding scandal. The 27 hospitals at the center of the 171 million shillings National Hospital Insurance Fund NHIF fraud have been suspended altogether. Health Cabinet Secretary Susan Nakhumicha says the facilities were among 67 hospitals that were audited between January and December 2023. The health CS said the investigations revealed that the scheme saw the taxpayer lose 20 billion shillings following fraudulent claims made by the said hospitals to NHIF. Joseph Wahungo has the details.
Barely 24 hours after the Health Cabinet Secretary Susan Nakhumicha warned hospitals making fraudulent claims to the National Health Insurer to stop, the government has suspended 27 hospitals for allegedly being involved in fraudulent activities that resulted in a loss of 171 million shillings at the National Health Insurance Fund NHIF last year. Health Cabinet Secretary Susan Nakhumicha, in a statement to newsrooms, further said that the millions of Kenyans who make monthly contributions to the fund lost 20 billion shillings to the scheme. The statement further read that it is estimated that approximately 3,440 out of 8,886 hospitals might have been engaged in fraudulent activities, indicating that 40% of the said institutions were making fraudulent claims, while 60% were engaged in clean business. The alleged fraud occurred in facilities in Nairobi, Meru, Nyahururu, Murang'a, Kerugoya, Makueni, Tharaka Nithi, Subukia, Nanyuki, Bungoma, Chuka and Machakos.
It is a sad state, I must say that we have people who falsify documents to claim from NHIF.
The CS said further anomalies were also identified, including facilities conducting an exceptionally higher number of eye surgeries in a day.
We have gone to the extent of even pursuing refunds. Between December and now, NHIF is pursuing refunds of 171 million from private facilities. It is not fair.
Meanwhile, services at Port Victoria Hospital were paralyzed today after healthcare workers withdrew their services in solidarity with their colleagues who were harassed on Monday by a medical student attached to Nairobi Women Nursing School. The workers want the perpetrators to be brought to book for justice to prevail. For Easy Friday, I'm Joseph Wahungu.
In a corruption-related matter, Chief Officer for Education Science at the Technical and Vocational Training in Vihiga County has been arrested for allegedly soliciting a 200,000 shillings bribe from a contractor. Dr. Noel Malanda was nabbed by EACC sleuths in her office last evening and 400,000 shillings recovered. While confirming the arrests, EACC spokesman Eric Gumbe said the officer had been on the EACC radar for some time now following numerous complaints. Gumbe said more arrests of senior officers in the County Assembly and Executive are expected as EACC tightens its noose around corruption.
Dr. Malanda, the Chief Officer for Education, Science, Technical and Vocational Training in Vihiga County Executive, was arrested on Thursday within county offices and spent the night at a Kisumu police station. The Chief Officer is accused of soliciting for a 200,000 Kenya shillings bribe to facilitate a 1.8 million shillings payment of supplies made to Vihiga County. While confirming the incident, EACC spokesman Eric Ngumbi in a statement said the officer has been on the radar of EACC sleuths for some time, following numerous complaints concerning management of contracts within her department. 400,000 Kenya shillings were also recovered from her office and will form part of the investigations. Several officers under her department and other senior officers in the County Assembly and the Executive are also under investigation, and arrests are expected soon. The county is under close scrutiny as the anti-corruption body investigates multiple suspected corruption cases. In the revealed cases, the anti-graft body is investigating a 200 million shillings worth of mortgage and car loan by senior officials of the County Assembly. The Commission is also investigating interest claims amounting to over 100 million shillings by County Assembly officials. The Commission also alleges massive conflicts of interest with senior County Assembly involved in the supply of goods and services to Assembly, among others. The arrest came just hours after the anti-graft body EACC sounded an alarm on runaway corruption in some counties across the country. Achola Simon, Prime Edition, Kisumu County.
In the meantime, Milimani Chief Magistrate Lucas Onyina was on Friday forced to adjourn the hearing of a case involving theft of 252 bags of government-subsidized fertilizer. This is after the prime suspect, Robert Kipngetich Bet, fell unwell in court. The subsidized fertilizer was offloaded and presented at the court's yard as exhibit. Ruth Wamboi with details in the Scales of Justice segment.
Milimani's Magistrate Court having given the case a priority basis Thursday. Friday, everything seemed set with porters offloading the 252 bags of government-subsidized fertilizers, each weighing 50 kgs, from the truck as exhibit.
The inventory keeps on getting amended. See, there is a weight of an inventory that has already been placed before you, that forms part of the record of the court. That is what a pretrial culminated, filing of an inventory before you.
In the event that the accused is unable to raise the bail terms granted, he is at liberty to go for the bond option, considering that processing of bond is done free of charge. In my view, the bail terms granted yesterday are reasonable, and therefore there is no good reason to warrant review of the same as sought by the defense.
The prosecution on its part told court it had aligned 3 witnesses to testify in the matter. However, the accused Kennedy Ayabe shortly prayed to the court to give directions on why a pre-trial had not been conducted before the hearing to review the accused's bail terms and that his client is sick and needed urgent medical attention.
Needless to say, Your Honor, the right to fair hearing under Section 25 is one of the the rights that cannot be limited, Your Honor. That is the Constitution. That is a very sacred provision of the law. Fair hearing.
So is that the accused person is unwell. That has not been contested by the prosecution. And therefore, without going to the other reasons, the fact that the accused person is unwell is a good reason to justify allowing the application for the adjournment sought. The application for adjournment is therefore allowed.
The suspect Robert Bett was arrested in Narok County Wednesday in possession of the 252 bags of government-subsidized fertilizer.
The accused person to be escorted to hospital for medical attention.
Ruth Wamboy for Easy Friday.
Some sad news here. A section of residents in Meru County Friday held prayers for the slain Meru-based blogger Dennis Muthiani. The residents transported the body of the late Muthiani from Maua Methodist Hospital mortuary to the Kinoru Stadium, a distance of 53 kilometers, for the prayers. Speakers at the prayer meeting urged the Office of the Directorate of Criminal Investigations, DCI, to leave no stone unturned in pursuing the suspects behind the killing of a blogger who was popularly known as Sniper.
A section of residents in Meru County converged at the Kinoru Stadium for prayers to the late Daniel Mthiani, alias Sniper. The caskets carrying the body of the deceased had to be moved from Maua Methodist Hospital mortuary up to Kinoru Stadium in Meru Town, about 53 kilometers distance, for the prayers.
It can no longer be business as usual. Fast track!
Speakers at the prayer meeting urged the national government to ensure the suspects behind the murder of the blogger are brought to book.
Tunataka kusikia waliohusika wanashikwa usiku mchana na kila wakati. Wote Subaru zibebe watu waliofanya mambo haya, ili tuweze kusikia kwamba kuna kitu kinaendelea.
Hatuwezi kaa tukienda round bila kusema maneno.
Ile kitu itendeka ya Sniper sio mzuri na hakitendeki.
The body of the late was retrieved from Mtonga River in Tharaka-Nithi after he went missing on 2nd December 2023. An autopsy done Friday last week on the body of the Meru-based blogger showed he was strangled on the neck before his body was thrown into a river. The Directorate of Criminal Investigations is now seeking 21 more days to hold 5 more suspects who were arrested Thursday in connection with the murder of Meru-based blogger. According to DCI, the days will enable them conclude investigations. Irene Mchuma Odim is a Friday.
And of course, may the soul of Daniel Muthiani rest in peace and his killers nabbed. The developments are now there are about 6 suspects in police custody. The DCI is seeking to hold about 5 of them who have been arrested in connection with the murder. We are taking a breather. When you come back with more news lined up for you, don't go too far.
Dereva, kutumia simu wakati uko barabarani ni hatari kwako, abiria wako na kwa wengine wote walio barabarani. Wengi wamepoteza maisha yao au kujeruhiwa baada ya kuhusika katika ajali zilizosababishwa na madereva wanaotumia simu. Usiwe mmoja wao. Usalama barabarani unaanza na wewe. Ujumbe huu unaletwa kwako na Kenya National Highways Authority. Quality Highways, better connections.
Cheza Loto Moto.
School fees ya msichana imemalizwa.
Loto Moto. May the Almighty God bless you. Keep on doing the right thing.
Cheza Loto Moto. Shinda pesa moto moto.
Kwenye ulimwengu wa sasa, taaluma za mikono zina umaarufu mwingi. Jiunge na Sensei Institute of Technology tukupe ujuzi na uzoefu wa kushughulikia ulimwengu. Tunafunza taaluma kama plant operator, plant mechanics, kuendesha gari na trailer, kuweka CCTV na alarm, kuweka solar, kuweka stima, motorcycle motor vehicle mechanics na electronics, teknolojia ujenzi wa mijengo, ujenzi wa barabara na mabwawa, hospitality na taaluma nyinginezo. Kujiunga nasi, beba kitambulisho chako na utembelee tawi letu lolote. Sensei College. My skills, my future.
够了！你以为这点小把戏能骗得了我吗？至少轮到我了。
Welcome back. You're watching the Easy Friday. We return to Meru, where a family in Maua, Igembe South, Sub-County, Meru County, is seeking justice after their kin died under unclear circumstances in Maua police station cells. Duncan Mutethia, 20 years old, was arrested after he was involved in a brawl on Boxing Day. Only for the family to learn of his death 2 days later.
According to the family, Mutethia was arrested on December 26th last year after a scuffle over a mobile phone. They allege that he was brutally beaten by police officers during arrest, sustaining severe injuries.
Hapa kwa shingo, huyo mwingine akampiga hapa kifua, kwa mbavu. Mwingine akampiga hapa. Ndio ndani venye alipigwa hapa akatabika damu.
The family claims they were denied access at Maua police station.
OCS alikataa tumuone. Askari walitoka na marungu, OCS akasema tufuguzwe. OCS venye walitoka na wakatufuguza.
Family members stated that when they visited Maua police station on the morning of December 28th, they were informed that Mutethia had died in police custody.
Wanangalia Dan kaniko police, nikaenda nikakuta yule kijana alikuwa amewekwa na yeye Dan. Nikamuuliza mkona ndani, akaniambia ndani asubuhi ya kuamkia leo wamemtoa akiwa amekufa na akawekwa kwa gari ya polisi akapelekwa hospitali Mochari General.
However, conflicting information emerged when they spoke to the officer commanding the station, who stated that Mutethia had succumbed to high blood pressure and was taken to Nyambene level 4 mortuary.
Sasa tu tunaomba usaidizi kwa serikali kwa sababu hata mtoto wangu sijui kama atasoma tena mwenyako form 2 sasa hivi tulikuwa tunasaidiana na yeye. Sasa sijui nini tabanya ni mimi nahitaji usaidizi tu angalia haki ya mtoto wangu.
The family is now demanding answers about the circumstances leading to Mutethia's death, emphasizing he had no history of high blood pressure.
OCS aliniambia ndani ni sukari ilipanda. Ndio nataka kuuliza ni sukari gani na ndani tumeishi na yeye mpaka miaka hiyo ako nao sasa 20. Ndani hajai kuja naoma, hajai sema ako mgonjwa, hajai peleka hospitali na hadi majirani wenyewe walimuona date 26 asubuhi.
The family has however reported the matter to the Independent Police Oversight Authority. John Junge for Easy Friday.
Schools are reopening on Monday, with schools set for reopening for the first term. Parents and guardians have decried the high cost of school uniform and learning materials, despite the high prices. A challenge, as portrayed by KBC Channel 1 in the coastal town of Mombasa, showed uniform outlets and bookshops were full to capacity. That is today being a Friday, as parents and students embarked on back-to-school shopping ahead of a planned resumption of learning on Monday, 8th of January 2024.
With only 2 days remaining for the schools to be reopened for the first term, uniform centers and bookshops in Mombasa were beehive of activities. In one of the uniform outlets at Mwembe Tayari, we meet Aisha Said. She has traveled all the way from Likoni to come and purchase uniforms and other items for her daughter.
Sema la kweli vitu viko juu. Uchumi umetufinya kila mahali. Niko na uniform ndio hizo bei ni ghali. Mtoto badala apate kile kiwango anastahili kupata, yabidi tufinye kila mahali, yani to balance. Uniform apate japo mbili, bei za vitabu nazo ziko juu.
Monica Mulinge, a businesswoman operating the uniform center, says unlike previous years, it's not business as usual.
Kini biashara for the last 3 years imekuwa biashara ngumu sana, sababu hakuna wateja wanakuja kama vile kitambo. Vitu zimepanda na upati hata raw materials za kushona. Hata unapopata pesa unapata hata mwenye kustock materials ana. Taxes zimekuwa juu na maisha yamekuwa juu sana. Kwa hivyo ni kilio cha wanachangu kama mwenye Mombasa Uniforms kulia kwa hata wanabiashara wenzangu ya kwamba serikali iangalie wananchi.
And at the second-hand textbook center located at GPO, tens of parents are also flocking here to seek for affordable books.
Nimekuja angalia vitabu vya second hand vya grade 5 kwa sababu ya maisha. Lakini bei za second hand hazina tofauti na bei za bookshop. Bei ni hizo hizo. Wazazi twajituma watoto wetu wapate elimu. Lakini ndio ni kama hivyo, biashara hatuna, tunapambana sisi kama wazazi, kazi hakuna, usaidizi hakuna.
The change of education system from 844 to CBC has also affected the second-hand book vendors.
Vitabu zingine zimebadilishwa, mbona nasikia ni tena pia wazazi hawana pesa. Sasa wazazi liganisha na miaka huko nyuma alikuwa nakuja wengi, hata hapa gari haikuwa inapita hapa. Sasa na watu wengi wako yani wamekaa tu wametulia sababu kuna pesa. Vitabu hizo serikali nasikia ni wamepunguza sera hapa za juu, ni gani mtoto ataambiwa ni anaweza nunua hii asikie sio hii, na wewe mwenyewe ulikuwa umeka stock ya hizo vitabu. So kwa hivyo hizo vitabu zenye ni serikali imerejista kwa wastage.
The prices of the new books at the main bookstores has more than doubled.
Bei ya vitabu iko juu sana, na iko juu kwa sababu hakuna iko VAT ndani yake, iko mambo mengi ndani yake, vitabu ni vingi, mtaala umekuwa na mambo mengi. Nashukuru serikali kwamba imeondoa baadhi ya masomo, lakini bado hii hali inatuchanganya sisi kama wananchi. Kwa hiyo naomba serikali ijaribu inavyowezekana katika masuala ya elimu, itie mkono wake kikamilifu.
Jokali Artisans have implored the Court of Appeal to reverse a decision by the High Court that annulled the housing levy. The artisans who congregated at the Soweto Affordable Housing Project site in Kibra claimed the decision by the High Court in December last year would spell doom to their businesses and shatter the lives of young families depending on the thousands of jobs offered at the Affordable Housing Project sites. Amid debate over the fate of the housing project and the Court of Appeal expected to make a ruling on whether to stay the orders by the High Court in December last year, Jokali artisans are expressing fear that their lives could be disrupted by the annulling of the housing levy.
Stopping the housing levy will interfere with this program. As you can see, this program is around 70% done. Yeah? In the next 2 years, this program should have come to completion. So if they stop the housing levy today, what will happen to this project? That is the question we are addressing to the Judiciary.
With thousands of jobs already at risk, the artisans who were joined by workers at the Soweto Affordable Housing Project site in Kibra urged the Court of Appeal judges to consider overturning the judgment by the High Court.
Tunataka tuinuliwe maisha yetu ipande juu. Tunataka tuenjoy ile privilege matajiri pia wanaenjoy nayo. Na sisi tumekuja realize hii mradi inapigwa vita na private developers wenye wanasikia uchungu, nyumba the same zenye zinauzio matajiri na bei kali, sisi tunazipata kwa bei nafuu.
Kama kiongozi wa hawa wamenituma nimuulize swali moja. Hao wameanza kukula mzuri. Wataenda wapi? Watoto wao wanaenda shule, wataenda wapi? kama hiyo mswada inaweza angushwa. So sisi ni kulilia court tu ituhurumie.
Umwambie unakata 1.5%. Na yeye mwenye amekuajiri anakuongezea 1.5%. Ukiangalia na upande mwingine, that's a salary increment of 1.5%. Na kama venye serikali imeahidi, after 7 years hizo pesa utapata ni zako.
The Juakali artisans in particular claim they have recorded a boom in the business since the launch of the projects in various parts of the country.
Judiciary. These houses that are being done here in Kibra, these are slum upgrading projects. These houses are not for President Ruto. These houses are not for PS Hinga. These houses are for the residents of Soweto here. That is one fact that we need to make it clear today.
Kwa President Ruto mali yake atusikie na tuone kwa kweli pia sisi tunasimama na yeye kwa kweli, tukasimama na yeye Mungu atusaidie. Sasa pia sisi asimame na sisi pia sisi.
Sisi kama wa Kenya tunapata nafasi ya kupata nyumba. Pale Park Road sisi kama watu wa Ngong Road tulipata nyumba 5 kama wanajua kali. Kwa hiyo hii mradi sisi kama wa Kenya is the biggest opportunity we have ever had.
On Thursday, the Court of Appeal extended stay orders granted by the High Court after the annulment of the levy until the 26th of January, when they deliver a judgment on the appeal lodged by government. 2 children from one family have drowned in a shallow trench in Gitamayo village of Kiambu County. According to the neighbors, the kids had gone to collect firewood when they fell into the flooded trench, leading to the death.
At Gitamayo village in Kiambu County, residents are in shock after the lives of 2 brothers aged 6 and 8 years were snatched by this flooded trench meant to hold water for upcoming construction site. The third sibling escaping death by a whisker. The witnesses says the kids had gone to fetch firewood when they fell into the flooded trench.
Walikuwa napita kwenda kuchuna kuni, juu hapa ndio kama kuchuna kuni. Sasa hapo ndo wakakuta akapata maji, mtoto mmoja akaslide akaanguka. Ule mwingine akienda kumshikilia, wote wakaanguka. Na hapo ndo tumeweza kuluza hao watoto wawili.
The residents complain of negligence by the developers of the estate who dug the pit and left them uncovered.
Ukiangalia hii shimo imechimbwa tu kwa barabara, na tunauliza kama wangechimba hii shimo na hawajaweka any safety ropes, wangechimba at least wangesonga huko kando ya shamba wachimbe. Lakini vile nilikuja unaangalia hiyo, unaona ni kama maji imetapakaa, ni kama hakuna shimo. Hata ungefikiria ni kama kulinyesha usiku, maji ikatapakaa tu hapo.
Juu anachimba lakini hawaeki sign ya kuonyesha hapa kuna shimo. Ndio mtu ajue pale kuna shimo, siwezi pitia hapo. Kama hakuna hiyo mambo ya kuonyeshana ati hapa kuna shimo, unaona tu mtu atakuja kama amepita vile amezoea.
Area Chief Maina Mwangi put a notice to the estate manager to ensure all open ditches in the estate are covered.
Wapate kufence hizo nini yote, hiyo mashimo yote, na isipo kama haitakuwa hivyo, niko haki kabisa tutahakikisha hiyo mashimo yote wameiziba.
Still in Kiambu County, grief has stricken Gwakigwe village in Juja after hyenas mauled a 10-year-old boy to death. The killer animals, according to the village elder Joseph Thiga, dragged the boy to a nearby swamp where they feasted on him before being chased by the locals.
Ikamfuta kama mita 300 na mahali ilimuingisha ikamuingisha kwa madhaje.
The marauding canines are said to be roaming in the area in the evenings and early in the morning.
Na sisi wenyewe unajua unaweza toka katuseme unaenda hapo nje uikute. Juu kama hiyo siku bado zililala zikiwika. Jana zilikuja kitu kaa saa 1 hapo. Usiku imelala ikiwika. Saa 11 zilikuwa huku.
Frederick Isera, the warden in charge of Kiambu County, said they have intensified the hunt for the hyenas by instilling more traps across the villages.
Askari wetu wakiongeza na askari wengine watakuwa wakipiga doria katika sehemu tofauti ambazo tumeweza ku identify na kujua ya kwamba hao ofisi wako.
Pauline Nasimiu for Easy Friday.
Quite a sad ending there. Now, the 2023 edition of the annual Rusinga Island Cultural Festival ended in a memorable fashion, having provided a unique opportunity for residents and visitors to learn about the rich archaeological and cultural heritage of the Abasuba people. And as we look now reports for this week's edition of My Culture, the festival featured an array of cultural activities, including a cooking competition based on traditional methods.
The 19th edition of the annual Rusinga Island Cultural Festival was staged on Ngode Island in Lake Victoria. The tiny Ngode Island is administratively located within the confines of Rusinga Island Ward in Subanot constituency, Homa Bay County. Provision of free ferry services between the two islands gave access for a multitude of the locals and visitors to witness and feel the fascinating scenery that characterized the week-long festival. And thanks to the festival, the tiny Ngode Island got its first motorable road, courtesy of the event's organizers, the business community also reaping handsomely from the showpiece.
We have gone to Mombasa for so long, so we are used to the process. Now it's, I urge people to come explore the new frontier in tourism. That is Rusinga Island, the Homa Bay County, and other regions within the lake.
The festival featured an array of cultural activities which included boat racing for men and women, ball games, fishing, swimming, and presentation of the various archaeological fossils extracted from the island. The vast Rusinga Island hosts members of the Abasuba community, although Samuel Adede, the chairperson of the Abasuba Council of Elders, confesses that the Abasuba's culture life has been eroded by the influence of their Luo neighbors since the emergence of Christianity and modern education.
Watu wa Rusinga kijadi ni Wasuba, na mara walipowasili katika sehemu hizi za Nyanza tulikutana na Waluo, ndoa ikaanza kupita katikati yetu. Kuna wengi sana wawake walikuwa Waluo. Alafu vile vile wakati elimu na dini ilipokuja, ilikuja kwa lugha ya Waluo. Sasa ikameza kidogo lugha ya Kisuba.
Adede says most cultural practices between the two communities today overlap to the extent that it has become difficult to draw a line between the two communities.
Ningewashauri vijana kwamba wafanye bidii kukuza lugha yao, kujifunza lugha yao. Ingawa mara nyingi unaona hata wale walioenda katika nchi za ng'ambo wamezaliwa huko wengine, lakini wakirudi nyumbani tunahimiza wajifunze lugha yao. Lugha ni utamaduni, lugha ni jamii. Ukipoteza lugha ni kama utamaduni wako.
This is evident in the cooking competition that was part of the 19th edition of the annual showpiece.
So for you to do that, you had
Yes. Chef Stephen Dongla has been tasked to judge the competing sets of cooks based on the traditional methods employed by the participants.
Culture was meant to give discipline, but also to be celebrated, and to understand what you do in your culture, what you do in my culture, and to celebrate it. So when it's incorporated in this particular setup, I mean, it gives a different value even to the Homa Bay County through the Ministry of Sport, Culture, Tourism sector.
Dongla says the fireplace must conform to that used in the olden days, and that the cooking material and ingredients must all be traditional.
Kuna wale kwa nakava na either matope, ama huyo ametumia unga ya ugali.
Hiyo ni unga,
hii ni unga ya ugali, yes. You can either be creative with either way.
All right.
So by doing so, no steam is escaping.
Okay.
It's more like a modern days pressure cooker.
Kama tumeweka namna hiyo, ndio chakula itakuwa mzuri. Hiyo chakula ya nyama.
As opposed to the fortified packet flour, the participants must use the traditionally made flour if they are to win the contest.
In this particular, more like a carved stone, that they are used to grind a mixture of millet, sorghum, maize, mostly for ugali, Waswahili wanasema sima.
To produce that flour.
The eventual winner of the contest must also serve the cooked meal in a traditional manner. In this case, they will use banana leaves instead of the modern day plate. In the place of the serving spoon, they will use shells collected from the lake shores.
So ukishapika kwa nyungu, once watu wanaanza kupika chakula ya baki, is being hung here right in the middle of the kwa nyumba, because unapata nyumba wameka hii beam na roof juu. So this structure so zimehangiwa unaweka chakula hapa. So paka haitafika hapa.
The annual Rusinga Island Cultural Festival is not just held for the locals to enjoy the festivities, but clearly it also provides a platform for the locals to relive the traditions of their Basuba and by extension the people of Rusinga.
Umeona kama mapishi yanaendeleza ya kijadi, mchanganyiko wa Kiluo, mchanganyiko wa Kisuba, watu wa kale na vitu vya kale na michezo, vitu kama hivyo imetuleta kwa umoja.
For Channel 1, I am Wycliffe Okech.
Cheza Loto Moto. School fees mtoto imelipwa, lakini bado tunataka kuendelea throughout.
Loto Moto imekuja kwa maisha yetu when I needed it the most. That is all I can say for now. I'm so grateful. May God bless you.
Cheza Loto Moto. Shinda pesa moto moto.
In a world filled with uncertainty, there is one thing we can always count on: the power of compassion and generosity. Every day, families in Kenya face unimaginable challenges and hardships. They struggle to put food on the table, provide shelter for their loved ones, and access basic health care. But today, you have the power to make a difference. By just contributing 1 shilling and 50 cents from your airtime, your generosity can provide access to sanitary pads, nutritious food, clean water, education, and life-saving medical care to those who need it most. To support this cause, please tune in to your favorite radio station under the KBC umbrella for step-by-step instructions on how to subscribe. KBC Helping Hands. Together, we can make a difference and bring hope to those in need.
Catch the Kisumu and Nanyuki Safari trains as you travel back from your festivities. The daily service runs up to 14th January 2024, with the Nanyuki train departing at 9 a.m. and the Kisumu train at 6:30 p.m.
Let's not have addiction in the first place. So try and restrain screen time from your children. Remember, if your child is watching too much TV, they're actually deleting parts of their brains and connectivity.
For parents, please keep an open communication with your child.
To book, dial *639# or visit maytickets.krc.co.ke. It's safe, affordable, reliable. For inquiries, contact us on 0709 907 000.
The business news. The United Nations is projecting that fiscal pressure will remain heightened in Kenya due to the high debt burden and maturing Eurobond this year. The UN World Economic Situation and Prospects 2024 report forecasts that African economies will register a moderate improvement in gross domestic product GDP growth in 2024, increasing to 3.5% on average.
Kenya and other African countries continued to experience deteriorating fiscal positions against the backdrop of high public debt and low domestic revenue base in 2023. The UN World Economic Situation and Prospect 2024 report projects external conditions to remain unfavorable for the African economies due to a weak global economic outlook and limited external financing opportunities. However, a recovery in domestic demand is projected for those countries that experienced economic shocks stemming from currency depreciations such as Kenya, electricity shortages such as South Africa, and armed conflict. Development financing access and cost remains a daunting challenge, with debt overhangs hindering most African countries from accessing capital at favorable rates from international markets. Borrowing costs for governments in Africa remain elevated, largely due to low credit ratings. Estimates show that borrowing costs for African countries are approximately 4 times higher than those for developed countries. In 2023, 3 major international credit ratings agencies downgraded some of the major economies in Africa, including Kenya, Nigeria, Ghana, Egypt, and Morocco. The African Union is working on establishing an independent credit rating modality that will provide balanced and comprehensive risk evaluations for African countries. However, a recovery in domestic demand is projected for those countries that experienced economic shocks stemming from currency depreciations, electricity shortages, or armed conflicts.
Rice farmers in Kenya are set to benefit from a high-yielding basmati rice variety that is in the final stages of trial at the University of Embu. Speaking at the rice breeding field in Mwea, a rice breeder from the University of Embu, Professor Njiro Nihakanyu, announced that 2 varieties will be released soon out of the 21 that are under research.
In Kenya, rice is a major food crop after maize and wheat, and the demand is increasing, especially in urban population. Unfortunately, rice yields per hectare is low compared to other rice-producing countries like China, Japan, India, and USA. Basmati rice is preferred by consumers because of its aroma and good cooking qualities. However, basmati yield is very low compared to other non-aroma rice lines.
Kwa hivyo ile research ingine tunafanya ni kuweza kuimprove the basmati. We induce a drought tolerant genes in the basmati 370 so that we can come with a variety ambayo mkulima akipanda hata in the higher regions ama katika hizi field za mchele na wakati hakuna maji mingi wataweza kupata mazao.
This has kept the average rice yields in Mwea, which is the main rice growing region in Kenya, low. Professor Ntakanyo observed that the highest production internationally is 17 tons per acre, adding that the researchers in Kenya aim is to get a production of about 15 tons per acre in the next 3 years.
This is a remarkable achievement because we are moving towards food security. Why this one is very important. One, it is able to withstand high levels of nitrogen. Nitrogen is important because it increases yield. While basmati is favored by many consumers, but the yield is low and it cannot release high levels of nitrogen, whereby when you release the nitrogen, it tends to fall down, and that jeopardizes yield, it reduces the yield.
Ntakanyo added that the super yielding has a DOF gene that helps it withstand the high production without lodging in water, noting that they are also coming up with a drought-tolerant variety that requires little water and can also do well in dry areas. He also revealed that the researchers are in the final stages of approval by the relevant government agencies like KFIS in order to get the seeds to farmers.
We are going to come from the trial level to multiply the seeds so that we can be able to have a bigger field. But of course, we need to be certified before this to the KEPS, but to be able to produce bigger field, especially for our own research, as a way to get the money so that we can be able to bring KEPS for certification.
Edna Murungi, Easy Friday.
United Arab Emirates government-owned Fly Dubai is set to grace the coastal skies of Mombasa starting from the 17th of this month with a weekly direct flight of tourists. Kenya Airports Authority made the announcement on social media platform X, saying that the entry will lead to increased tourist activities in the coastal region.
Data shows that Kenya's tourism sector has been growing, with international arrivals increasing and tourism earnings rising. In the first half of 2023, tourism earnings increased by 31% to 152.6 billion shillings. This was a 92% recovery compared to the same period in 2019. In June 2023, arrivals closed at 168,051, which was a 1% increase from the previous month. In 2024, the sector is poised to grow further. The Kenya Airports Authority KAA on its X account says Fly Dubai is set to grace the coastal skies of Mombasa starting the 17th of this month with 4 weekly direct flights of tourists. Wednesday night, Moi International Airport received a Polish air charter flight with 245 tourists from Poland. KAA says it anticipates more global friends arriving with JetTime Airlines in Mombasa. The Kenya Tourism Board's strategic plan for 2023-2028 aims to grow the tourism sector's contribution to the Kenyan economy to 1 trillion shillings annually by June 2028. Frederick Moki for Easy Friday.
Our digital payment service provider SasaPay has waived the transaction fees for its platform users, providing financial relief for the next 3 months. The waiver includes person-to-person transfers, business collections, business payouts to SasaPay users, and payments for bills or tills. The move seeks to increase the number of users on the platform.
We want to appreciate our customers who've been using our platform, and we want to help them save some transaction costs. We know that there are tough economic times, and with this tough economic times, we know that saving a shilling or two is always a good thing. And that is why we decided to zero rate for the next 3 months to help our customers enjoy all the benefits at no cost.
We are taking another breather, but don't go too far. We still have more news lined up for you, including sports with Bernard Okumu.
Cheza Loto Moto. School fees ya mtoto imelipwa, lakini bado tunataka kuendelea throughout.
Lotomoto imekuja kwa maisha yetu when I needed it the most. That is all I can say for now. I'm so grateful. May God bless you.
Cheza Loto Moto. Shinda pesa moto moto.
TV business. Chapukoi, are you ready to be a famous person?
Kapisa girlfriend. Who doesn't want to look attractive like me?
Woman down, as someone police called the ambulance.
Guys, and then there's this thing called romantic attraction.
Sasa ng'ombe wawili kukaliswa mahali pamoja, hiyo ni taabu tubu.
Let the world stop. I want to align.
In the name of Jesus Christ, Mungu anatarajia ukanyange hatua mbele. Wengine wametawaliwa na uchawi, wakati wao umefika. Wewe umenitazama siku ya leo. Neema na kibali cha Bwana kikawe juu ya maisha yako.
Get ready for the captivating return of the FKF Premier League, exclusively on KBC. Brace yourself for the thrill of football as 18 teams battle it out for glory. Every week, KBC brings you not one, but 2 heart-pounding matches, delivering the best football action right to your living room. The stakes are higher than ever. The league champion takes home a handsome prize of 5 million shillings and also earns the honor of representing Kenya in the prestigious CAF Champions League. Feel the adrenaline, experience the suspense, and join the roar of the crowd as we celebrate the return of Kenya's football legacy. The FKF Premier League, live and exclusive on KBC Channel 1 and KBC radio stations. Save the date, mark your calendars, and get ready for the ultimate football spectacle. Coming to you live only on KBC. KBC, your true sports partner.
And indeed, a very good evening and welcome to Prime Edition Sports. I'm Bernard Okumu. Let's begin with athletics, where Gideon Kingetich, Francis Sabong and Silas Senchura booked a place in the 5,000 meters men's final during the first day of the Athletics Kenya Track and Field Weekend meeting at Ulinzi Sports Complex. Now the meet culminates Saturday, where winners in respective events will qualify for the next third meet of the series. Sela Onyango with the report.
18 years old Silas Senchura came home first in 13 minutes 50.50 seconds to win the first semi-final, relegating Vincent Kipngetich and Athanas Kioko to second and third position respectively. Vincent timed 13 minutes 52.81 seconds, while Kioko clocked 13 minutes 58.7 seconds.
Kitu ingine ikiendelea, by this year nitashiriki mbio ya juniors. Lazima niingie Kenya team, naomba Mungu sana anisaidie.
Nilipopikwa tu nikakaa kwa cap tu, nikasema wacha nikaa hapo nisikatike.
In the women's 400 meters, Gladys Jemkemboi won her heat, clocking 54.24 seconds. Damaris Mutunga finished second with a time of 55.64 seconds, while Emma Wavinya finished third with a time of 58.44 seconds. A total of 16 athletes were shortlisted for the 400 meters women finals tomorrow. The two-day meet, which is part of the event that will aid AK in selecting athletes to represent Kenya at major international competition, has attracted a total of 850 athletes.
We have started the preparation using the cross country. We have seen the participants, the way they have been doing. We have now started the weekend meetings so that we give them ample time to prepare and give more competitions. As they compete, then they can catch their own shape and understand whether they can have to adjust something during their training or not.
The third AK meet is set for March. Sela Onyango for Easy Friday.
Elsewhere, Extreme Sports CEO Hussein Mohammed has complained of discrimination and intimidation from football authorities after being stopped from attending a football match at Raila Odinga Stadium in Homa Bay on 31st of December 2023. Hussein alleged referees were withdrawn from officiating the match, and it took the intervention of county government officials for the match to go on.
Hussein termed the attempts to block him from attending the match as a violation of his constitutional right.
Repeatedly been subjected to discrimination and intimidation from participating in football-related activities orchestrated by certain members within the Football Kenya Federation. The said actions have been malicious, and recently my civil, fundamental constitutional rights have been violated in broad daylight.
He alleged that the match officials present were withdrawn and only proceeded with the match after Homa Bay County government officials stepped in.
Volatile standoff ensued as the FKF branch officials refused to proceed with the games and immediately withdrew referees as they demanded that I leave the stadium. The host county officials and the governor were baffled by the reaction of the FKF officials.
Let's allow our referees to perform. Let us have an appointment that is for all. Let us not be selective in promotion of our referees in the country. And in this case, that is why we have problems in our Kenyan Premier League. Why? Because Kenyan Premier League has 145 referees officiating matches for 18 clubs.
He added that he had faced such treatment before and called for intervention.
Because this behavior has now become dangerously unsettling and requires immediate and deliberate intervention if we are to restore sanity back into this critical sector. I am here to stand up against all forms of discrimination, intimidation, and impunity in the sports sector.
He added that he might be forced to seek legal action if the actions persisted. He, however, failed to reveal whether the intimidation is linked to his unannounced intention to vie in the forthcoming national football elections.
Anybody be worried about the elections, then that worry should be directed elsewhere. I have not declared my candidature about any position. I have not declared if I'm running for any seat. And even if I had, or if I was to declare, what is the problem? I mean, every electoral process has got its procedures. Everybody is free to vie for any position. It's guaranteed in our laws. So there's really no excuse on their part, regardless of whether I'm a candidate or not, for them to do what they did.
And to handball now, where veteran tactician Peter Mwati says early preparations ahead of the upcoming 2024 Africa Men's Handball Championship play a crucial role in the national team's performance. A squad of 24 has been in non-residential training for close to 2 weeks now in preparation for the 26th edition of the Continental Championship, slated for 17th to 27th of this month in Egypt. The competition will act as the Africa qualifying tournament for the 2025 World Men's Handball Championship, with the top 5 nations qualifying. The team is set to leave the country on 15th of this month ahead of the tournament that brings together 16 teams. Now, Team Kenya will rely on the experience of long-serving players like keeper Victor Otuoma, who has been capped 20 times, as well as Equity Bank's Paul Ondara, who has been capped 14 times. And now further afield, where the Confederation of African Football (CAF) has announced a 40% increase in the prize money for the winner of the Africa Cup of Nations in Cote d'Ivoire. The winner of the AFCON in Cote d'Ivoire 2023 will receive approximately 1 billion Kenya shillings. The runner-up will now get 630 million shillings. Each of the 2 semi-finalists will receive 384 million shillings, and each of the 4 quarter-finals will get 204 million shillings. CAF President Dr. Patrice Motsepe said the prize money targets to develop football and also benefit all the football stakeholders, as well as assist member associations with their administrations. The Africa Cup of Nations will kick off on 13th of this month in Cote d'Ivoire. And to Spanish football, where Ike Gundogan scored a disputed stoppage time penalty as Spanish giants Barcelona came from behind to beat Las Palmas 2-1 in Spanish La Liga. In another match, Sevilla lost 2-0 to Athletic Bilbao.
El Haddadi gave Las Palmas an early opener against his former club. Ferran Torres scored the equalizer for the Catalans in the 55th minute. Former Manchester City midfielder Ike Gundogan scored the winner from the spot in stoppage time. The win took Barcelona's tally to 41 points from 19 matches in La Liga, 7 points off Real Madrid and Girona at the top. Las Palmas remained 10th in the table, having suffered back-to-back defeats. In other matches, Sevilla lost 2-0 to Athletic Bilbao, while Osasuna defeated Almeria 1-0.